Hello everyone, welcome to this video. And basically in this video, I'm going to show you an automation that I built in which you can basically take a long form YouTube video that you've created and you can automatically with AI generate short form video ideas or tweets, for like short form videos for TikToks, Instagram Reels, tweets, newsletter, emails, etc. Or just like shorter videos that you can make. So basically, let's say that you did like a podcast that was like an hour long. This can automatically generate video ideas and, more short form content that you can create from that long form piece of content that you've created before. Anyway, so I'm not the best at explaining things. So let's just get right straight into this thing. Basically, it's pretty simple. Whenever you start the automation, it's just gonna ask you for a YouTube link. You can paste the link, and then what it's gonna do, it's basically going to call an API. So it's gonna do an HTTP request to this API from Apify. Apify is like a place where there's like different APIs that you can use, etc. So it's pretty simple. Basically, you just do a post request to this API, and you pass in the video URL. So in the body of the request, you pass in the video URL, which you're gonna get from the form that we just opened. I'm just gonna zoom in just to make sure that you can see. Yeah, I'm gonna like really zoom in to make it visible in the video. So as you can see, we're just getting the video URL from the form, and we're passing it to the API. So basically that API is going to return. Okay, before I keep going, I'm going to actually execute it just so we can see how the data looks like, okay? Okay, so I just went on YouTube and I found some random video about how to learn how to code, for example. And I'm just gonna use that as an example. So basically we come in, we submit the form, and this is gonna start running the automation. Okay, so now that the automation is done running, we can see that basically from this API request that we made, we're getting back this JSON, which is basically the transcript of the video. Now, it returns kind of like timestamps and kind of like subtitles for each timestamp. So the way that I did it, I basically formatted it a little bit different. So what I did, well, here, this is an if statement. So we're checking if there's no transcript on the YouTube video, it's going to return a JSON that says, data.success false, right? So it's going to tell you that there's no transcript and it's not going to work. So basically what I did is I just put an if so that if there's no transcript, it's going to stop and give you an error. But if there is a transcript, then it's just going to continue running the automation like normal. So this is just this is not even like necessary, but it's just like a little error message just in case the video doesn't have a transcript for whatever reason. So anyways, now from the actual HTTP request that we made before to the API, what we're getting back is this JSON that I showed you with like all the different timestamps, with all the different kind of like texts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all of those and I'm going to put them in a big paragraph. Instead of having like a list of like little texts, I'm just going to put everything in just one big block of text, so that we can then pass this to OpenAI properly. So basically the way that I did this is with a node called edit fields, and I used a little bit of JavaScript magic here. So basically what we're doing is we're taking the data from the JSON that we got from the API, and we're like mapping this to a field that's called transcript. And here what we're getting is we're going to basically iterate over each one of the items that we got back. So this is what map means. If you don't know about coding, you don't know JavaScript, you can just do this with like ChatGPT. Just ask ChatGPT like, how do I do this? And it's probably gonna give you like the little code snippet that you can use. But this is pretty simple. I'm gonna explain basically how it works. So for each one of these items in this data list, we're gonna iterate over each one of them. That's what the map means. Map is basically to iterate over each one of those. And for each item, we're gonna get the text. So as you can see, each one of these items has a property called text, and it has start, duration, and text. So it has like the little timestamp or whatever, and the text. We only want the text. I don't care about the timestamps. So that's what we're getting for each item. We're just getting the text field. And then this is going to create like a list. So we do join with a space in between. So for each one of the elements of the list, we're just gonna leave like a empty space, but it's gonna turn it into a string, which is text. It's gonna turn it into text, right? So that's why we get this large block of text instead of a list of a bunch of small items. But again, like if you don't know about coding, whatever, you can just ask ChatGPT how to do it, and it's just gonna tell you, like whatever. It's not that complicated. But I would recommend, like if you are really serious about learning about n8n automations and everything like that, I would actually genuinely recommend you to learn at least the basics of coding, because I think it will be very useful for you to actually be able to do little things like this, you know? Because if I didn't know code, then I would be like, oh, how do I do this? But then it's just like a little simple line. Anyways, the point is, once we have that big block of code, that big block of text, what we want to do is we want to send that to ChatGPT or OpenAI, however you want to call it, same thing, you know? But anyways, the point is, we just give it like a little prompt. This prompt, by the way, is not the best prompt. I just wrote it like pretty quick. You can put a lot more work into writing a better prompt that's more useful for your particular case. I just wrote like a very simple, basically what it says is, based on the transcript from a long form video, I want you to generate ideas for short form content. So like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikToks, etc. Or maybe even tweets, etc. This is the transcript of the long form video. And then we just insert the transcript right here. So it's just gonna insert all that text that we got from the API. It's gonna insert it right here. And this is gonna basically call the OpenAI API, and it's going to return the response. So just basically like ChatGPT. This is the same as if we went into ChatGPT and just sent it this prompt, right? So it's just gonna give us the response. Great transcript. It offers lots of nuanced insights and actionable tips on learning how to code, blah, blah, blah. So it's gonna give you like all the response with all the ideas and everything. So basically I'm just gonna take that and I'm gonna write it to a Google Doc. Pretty simple. We just write the response. So as you can see, we get what we get from OpenAI is a JSON that has message, content. This is what we want. So this is what we're going to write into the Google Doc. It's json.message.content. So anyways, as you can see here in the Google Doc, we're gonna have our response that we got from OpenAI. So basically we have, it's gonna give us like ideas of content based on that video. I mean, it's not formatted properly because this is in a format called Markdown. So it's not gonna show like it shows like these weird symbols like hashtags and stuff like that. One improvement that could be made to this automation would be to actually show the correct format on the Google Doc, but for this case, it doesn't really matter. You can still read it. So as you can see, it's just like, it gives you a bunch of like TikTok ideas or whatever. It gives you like tweets with hashtags, you know, like this is 2012 or something, but yeah, anyways, it's ChatGPT, you can expect that much. No, but I mean, you don't have to put like all the hashtags and everything like that. This is just to give you ideas, you know? Then you can write it in your own way, or maybe you can put like a better prompt to give it like a specific style that you want the writing to be in, etc. Blah, blah, blah. So like I said, this is just like an example of what you could do. And honestly, this is pretty useful because this actually gives you like some pretty good ideas of content that you could create. So let's say that you record like a 20-minute video just talking about a bunch of random stuff. then you generate ideas from the YouTube video, and you might get like 5 new ideas of other YouTube videos that you can make that you never thought about, but ChatGPT or OpenAI just like gave you some cool idea. But I actually think this is quite useful. There's a lot of improvements that could be made to this workflow, obviously. But yeah, feel free to take this framework and improve upon it, do something that's more customized to your needs, etc. But anyways, I hope you learned something. I hope this video was actually useful. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. So see you in the next videos.